So to start, you need your yarn. I'm using this blue yarn. Then the next thing you need is your fur yarn, as you can see. Then after that, you get your hook. I'm using the 4.5 and the 5mm hooks. Then after that, you're also going to need your scissors and a darning needle. And you can use a stitch marker also if you're a beginner, right? So these are the materials that you need for this project. So to start, you take your yarn. As you can see, I'm using 2 strands of yarn. Then you are going to make a magic circle or a magic ring. So if you don't know how to do that, just watch exactly what I'm doing on the screen, alright? And once you've made your magic circle, we are going to make a chain of 2. Now once you have 2 chains, we are going to start by making a double crochet into that magic ring. So you yarn over, insert your hook, pull through 2 and pull through another 2. So we are going to make 12 double crochets into this magic ring, okay? So just go ahead and keep making double crochets until you have 12, alright? Now once you've made your last double crochet, you are going to go ahead and drag that yarn tail to close the ring, as you can see on the screen. Then we're going to connect these 2 sides by making a slip knot. Now remember, we made 2 chains. So on the second chain, you're going to insert your hook, as you can see on the screen. So you put your hook through, then you yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. And this is how our first row is looking. Now to make row 2, we are going to make 2 chains as usual. So you chain 1 and you make your second chain. Now for this row, we are going to make increases into every double crochet stitch, which means we are going to make 2 double crochet each into every stitch. So you make your first double crochet into that first stitch, as you can see on the screen. Then you make your second double crochet into that same stitch. So this is the pattern for row 2. I'm going to make increases into every stitch. So just go ahead and keep doing increases into every stitch till you get to the last stitch. Once you've gotten to the end of the row, make a slip stitch to connect those 2 ends together. Now for row 3, we are going to make 2 chains, and the pattern for this row is 1 double crochet, then an increase. So you go ahead and make your 2 chains, then into that first double crochet, you make a double crochet, then you make an increase into the next stitch. So just go ahead and keep repeating it, 1 double crochet, increase, 1 double crochet, then an increase. So repeat this pattern till you get to the end of row 3, and then you slip stitch to close your work. So for row 4, we're going to start by making 2 chains. Then for this row, we'll make 2 double crochets, then an increase. So you start by making your first double crochet in that first stitch. Then into the second stitch, make your second double crochet. Then into that third stitch, we are going to make an increase, which is 2 double crochet in that stitch, as you can see. So this is the pattern for row 4, which is 2 double crochet, increase, 2 double crochet, increase. So just go ahead and keep repeating this pattern till you get to the end of row 4. Then you slip stitch to close your work, alright? Now for row 5, we're going to go ahead and make 2 chains again. Then for this row, we're going to make 3 double crochets. Then into the first stitch, we're going to make an increase. So you go ahead and make your first double crochet, your second double crochet, your third double crochet. Then into the fourth stitch, you make an increase, which is 2 double crochet in that same stitch. So that's the pattern for row 5. 3 double crochet, increase, 3 double crochet, then an increase. Continue this round by making 3 double crochets, then an increase in the fourth stitch. And when you're done, you are going to slip stitch and close your work. Then we'll come back for row 6. So for this row, we're going to start by making a chain of 2. So after you make your 2 chains, we're going to make 4 regular double crochets, then an increase in the 5th stitch, alright? So just go ahead and make your first double crochet, your second double crochet, your third double crochet, your fourth double crochet, then into that 5th stitch you make an increase. So that is the pattern for row 6, which is 4 regular double crochets, then an increase. Now this is going to be the last round of increasing for this hat. So once you are done with row 6, make a slip stitch and we are going to start working on the body of the hat. Alright. So I just completed my row 6 and I'm measuring it with this tape and it's about 6 inches, as you can see. Now if you know 6 inches is too wide for your skull or for your head shape, make sure to stop at 5 inches. Alright. Now from here on, we are going to continue making the body of the hat. We are done with the crown of the hat. So now we're going to make the body of the hat. Okay, so just go ahead and make 2 chains as usual. Then for this round 7, we're in round 7 now, we're going to make normal double crochets without no increases. So just go around and keep making double crochets without increases. So just make regular double crochets into each stitch. So for row 7 throughout row 12, we're going to make regular double crochets without increases. So once you're done with row 7, you make a slip stitch and connect those 2 ends. Then for row 8, make regular double crochets throughout row 12, alright? So just repeat this pattern of regular double crochets without any increases till you get to row 12, okay? Then we're going to come back and add the fur yarn, alright? So once you've gotten to row 12, this is how your work should be looking. I suggest you try this on your head and see if it gets to the desired position. So I took my tape measure as usual and this is still about 6 inches, alright? So just wear this on your head and see if it sits perfectly. Now before we add the fur yarn, we are going to make a row of single crochet. So just make 2 chains and into that first chain you insert your hook, yarn over. Once you have 2 loops, you pull through those 2 loops. So that's your first single crochet. Then into that next stitch you make your second single crochet. So just go ahead and make 1 single crochet into each stitch till you get to the end of the row. So the reason for this single crochet row is when you add your fur yarn, your work is going to expand because we are working with a double crochet. So making the single crochet row helps hold the stitches together so that when you add your fur yarn, they are going to stay in place, okay? So once you finish making your single crochet row, you should make a slip stitch as you can see on the screen. Then the next thing to do is you make a chain 1. So you chain 1, then you take your scissors or your yarn cutter, then you cut your yarn and make sure you leave a little space of yarn because we are going to weave in that yarn later. So you cut your yarn, then you take your hook and you pull out your yarn, then you tighten that stitch. So we are done with the hat and now you take your 5mm hook because we are going to add the fur yarn into our project. So you get your fur yarn and you make a slip knot. Then insert your hook into that single crochet stitch. Then pull out your yarn. Then we're going to start by making 2 chains. So you chain 1 and you chain 2 as you can see on the screen. Then yarn over, we're going to make double crochets into each stitches. So yarn over, pull out 2, then pull out the other 2. Yarn over again, make a single crochet on the other stitch. So for this 4 yarn row, we're going to go ahead and make 1 double crochet into each stitch till we get to the end, and we're going to slip stitch together, right? So just go ahead and make 1 normal double crochet. Don't make any increases, okay? So just make a normal double crochet into each row, then you slip stitch at the end of your work. So once you're done with row 1, make a slip stitch and connect those 2 ends together. Now for row 2, you are going to chain 2, then you make double crochet into every stitch. Now you can't really see the stitches because you're working with a fur yarn, so you have to feel them with your hands. So a trick to feeling them is on that first row, the first double crochet under, you just feel the top of the stitch and you make another double crochet on top. Okay, so just go ahead and feel the stitches, make your double crochet, and when you're done, you're going to slip stitch and end the round. So I went ahead and repeated this pattern of normal double crochet, slip stitch, and I did mine for 4 rows. Okay, so this is the second row and I'm going to do this till I have 4 rows. So if you wear your hat and you know that 4 rows doesn't get to where you want it to be, maybe you want it to be at the top of your brows, you can go ahead and make it to 5 rows, 6 rows, just to get it to your own preference. All right, so I did mine in 4 rows. You can go ahead and do 5 rows, 3 rows if you like. Okay, so once you are done with your 4 rows, you should slip stitch and close your work. So once you're done, you should weave in your yarn ends. And I actually measured this hat and it was about 9 inches. So guys, this is the end of this tutorial. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment on what you want me to crochet next. So this is the end, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.